Hey everyone, it's Anne Manera and welcome to another color along from Color Along Variety Coloring Book Volume 18. Today we are coloring in the stained glass technique, and what's cool about this technique is that you really can use it with any medium. So here's the trick. Well, let me hold out about the trick before we talk about that. Let's find the page first. We're going to be coloring this slot page. I have like a clip here we shouldn't have. And I want to make sure I pop a piece of paper behind here, just so that we don't get anything, anything weird. I always keep a piece of paper behind there so that it doesn't, if something's going to bleed through. But today we're using colored pencils. So I'm going to be using Derwent Color Soft Colored Pencils. This is a 12-pack of colored pencils. And they're just typical colored pencils. I really, really like the quality of these. Now, what makes this stained glass? Sometimes you can put, you can do a few different things actually. Sometimes when you're done with it, you can put some oil on it. But what truly makes it stained glass is the thickness of those lines, and that's the technique that we're going to be doing today. So not only do I have Derwent Color Soft Pencils, but I also have a Faber-Castell grip marker. And when we're done with all of this, we're going to go over all of the lines that are here. So let's get a few of the housekeeping things out of the way for this video today. If you are interested in any of the products that I'm using during any of my color alongs, today's color along, any others, you can head over to my Amazon influencer store, and there are links to all of the products that I use for all of my color alongs, along with some of my faves. If you purchase from that link, I do make a small commission, I have to say that. And you can find all of the links to all of my books, including this book, on Amazon. Everything's available on Amazon, but you can find the link to this book and in the description of this video. I also would love it if you would subscribe to my video, and this way you could continue to follow me, and give this video a like so that YouTube recommends it to all different other people too. And let's get started. So I'm going to start out with this dark terracotta color. This is a page of slots, and this page can also be found in my book, Springtime Whimsy. Oh no, this is in Sloth Mania, excuse me. Sloth Mania, that's the book. So I'm going to start out with this guy with the brown color. And I'm using just kind of a heavy pressure around the other sloths. Sloths, is that how you say them for plural? Are you a sloth lover? Have you ever met a sloth in person? I bet there's a few people that have actually. And now I'm just going to kind of go up a little bit. Now, when you think about a piece of stained glass, what comes to mind? I love stained glass. I live in an area where there's a lot of stained glass windows in different houses. I wish I had some in my house, but I don't. So again, as I'm closer to these kind of like corners of places, I am popping all of this color in as a heavier pressure. And then I'm going to just color each of these, just continuing on with this color. This one is called dark terracotta. Looks more like brown to me, but I'm not the one naming the colors, right? Now I'm going to do a couple of them with the same color. So let's do this guy with this terracotta color. Now see, there's still a little bit of a line. I don't know if you can see that, but there still kind of is a little bit of a line there. And that's probably because I was on the previous page maybe, and I maybe pressed too hard. I think the previous page was gel pens. Yeah, I might have pressed too hard. And that's what happens if you don't put something behind your page. You could put a clipboard behind your page, or you could put another piece of paper. But, the other thing, too, is that if you want to create a texture, you could just put something behind your page. So you could use it on purpose. All right, so we've got that dark terracotta color. Is that what it's called? Dark terracotta. And now I feel like the inside of his face could be yellow. So I'm going to go with this deep cadmium yellow. The pigment on these pencils, these Derwent Color Soft Pencils, are incredible. The barrel, they're really good. Incredible meaning they're really good. The barrel of the pencil is a little thicker than the normal pencil. So I use a Boss Stitch electric pencil sharpener, and they work fine, but I know that there's some pencil sharpeners out there that have an adjustment. You can adjust for the, like, the girth of the pencil. Is that what it's called? The girth? The girth of the pencil. All right, so this guy right here, a yellow face, and I guess that maybe his eye's going to be black. I'll give him a black nose, maybe. We have a deep brown color in this set also, so maybe not black, maybe deep brown for the eyes. Do you plan your colors ahead? I don't plan my colors ahead. I'm going to go with this deep brown color for this guy right here. He's deep in the grass. There he is. And then maybe his face could be the color, the terracotta color, to change things around. Because you don't want them to all look alike, right? So let's do a terracotta face for this dude. And then I'll do this guy with some terracotta, with this dark brown again. But I'm going to go really light on this one. I'm going to make him a light color. I want them to be as realistic in color as a real sloth, but at the same time, these are kind of like, you know, fun little cartoon looking guys. And now for this one, I'm going to go with this dark terracotta, but I'm going to use a light. And I'm going over the nose on this one, just to make things, you know, a little funky. So again, here's my yellow. And let's start with the yellow face on this dude. And I'm making these kind of like scribbly on the faces. I don't know if you've noticed this. I don't want it to be completely solid, because I almost kind of want to make it represent fur. Now for this dude right here, let's go with a kind of another light color of the, well, medium. We got dark, we've got medium. So let's go with medium here. Very soft lead on these pencils. Extremely soft. I mean, you can see how easy, I don't know if, well, I mean, can you tell how soft they are just by watching the video? Let me know in the comments if you have these pencils and what you think about them. All right, so now we've got this dark brown color there, right? So we want to make sure that this guy, I'm going to give him a dark brown nose. Really, really heavy pressure. And then where's my black? I'm going to go with the black nose on this one. I guess we could kind of, you know, change it up a little bit, right? Let's give this guy a pink nose by giving some fuchsia, I think that's called fuchsia, deep fuchsia, excuse me, and some white. And then I'll give him a pink nose. And maybe this guy can have a pink nose too. I don't know, what color nose does a sloth have? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. Have you ever been close enough to a sloth to know the color of the nose? Maybe you've seen one Maybe you've seen one in person. I wanted to make sure my lighting was okay. All right, so there are our noses. I'm going to leave the eyes white because I think sometimes it just makes it pop a little bit. And this way he can have little black eyes. So we're going to leave those white. And now we're going to get started with the background of this. Now, I've got my green glasses of blades. Green blades of grass. I don't know who's texting me right now, but let me tell you, it's a distraction. And I thought I turned everything off. What is that quote? Something about interruption is the I have to get this section in here, is the worst thing. I forgot what the name of it. The quote is something about being interrupted hurts your creativity. Anybody know that quote? Okay, now we've got this other green color. We did that one. I'm going to use lime for the other blades, and I'm just going to use the same pressure for those, just to kind of vary it. Because when you look at the grass, it's really not all the same green, even though from a distance it probably looks it. Put a little bit of green on top of these at the tips. Okay. Now I'm going to start out with my background color. Well, first of all, the background here to me is blue because it's supposed to be the sky. I'm going to do a very light color because I want that to, I just want to have kind of a light pressure here. I want it to look like a soft blue. And these are so soft. I mean, the difference in heavy pressure versus light pressure really is amazing. And then let's go with my friend orange. We'll color these little, you know, these little orange guys. You know, I had a reading done, oh God, several weeks ago, and they talked about the colors of my aura. And they told me that there were two colors that they saw, green and orange. Has anyone ever had an aura reading before? I thought that was interesting. I thought that was interesting that those were the colors. Orange represents creativity, and green represents kindness, I believe. Pretty sure that's what they told me. Anyway, it was interesting. I thought I had a different, oh, here it is. This one is called Indigo, which is a really dark blue. And I'm going to color these divider lines with this indigo color. And I like to keep it consistent on this style page with these lines. And now I'm trying to think about what would be a good color behind all of this orange, and I'm going to go with this lime green because I really like the way it looks against that blue also. So I'm just going to color all behind the orange mosaics with this lime green. So if you just joined us, we're working on this page in the stained glass technique. And what will make it look like stained glass at the end is that we're going to go over all of our black lines with a black marker. And what that will do is create the illusion or a similar technique as a stained glass window. When you think about stained glass windows or stained glass in general, it always has the black line between all of the pieces of glass. I've always wanted to do stained glass. I've never ever learned how to do it. It's something that is on my list of things that I would love to learn how to do. Does anybody watching, I just need to pivot this page for a minute. Hang on a second so I can get this line here. Is anybody watching work with stained glass or have in the past? There was someone that I used to follow on Facebook that used to do live videos working with stained glass. Not as a lesson, but more just kind of like an over-the-shoulder type, watching her in her studio type thing, you know. All right, now I'm going to go with some yellow for these, and I'm going to alternate some yellow behind here, you know, the every other, creating a pattern. And again up top here. Now, one thing about these pencils, just like every other color pencil, but these in particular, if the colors, you know, blend together or get near each other like this yellow and this blue, they will mix to a new color, which is going to make green. That doesn't happen with every type of color pencil, but see how that's kind of dragging through right there? Now I'm going to take this deep fuchsia color and color this section here with deep fuchsia for the every others. Could you imagine a piece of stained glass, like a stained glass window of this? That would be hysterical, actually. There's the sloths looking through, looking at you. Now I'm thinking I might do this zigzag thing in the middle with some blue. The light blue like we did at the bottom, but change my pressure. Here it is right here. This is just called blue. See how I've changed the pressure? It's a little bit heavier than the one we did lower behind the at the bottom section. Look at the difference in how that changes. And I mean, you could get it even darker if you went even darker. The other thing is that these pencils actually, excuse me, I had like a frog in my throat for a minute. I was trying not to cough. These pencils do a really good job of mixing well with other colors. I'm going to go with red. It's just called red. And I'm going to do heavy pressure on one side and lighten it up as we go along. And I'm going to do all of these in this fashion. And I'm doing every one of them rather than every other, okay? But I am going to pivot a little bit so that I can get a better angle here. Now, if I add white on this, which I think I might do, on top of this red, you'll see the difference. See what I'm talking about. And then this part right here, kind of pivot a little bit. And now a little bit of white on top of this to kind of get that pinkness. So there's that section right there. Now I'm going to go with some yellow across the top here. And, you know, sometimes in small areas, just going to keep this on a little bit of a pivot. See how there's all these little little circles? Sometimes I like to just go over all of them rather than, you know, going crazy trying to go around each one of them. And for those little circles inside them, I'm going to go with that indigo blue again. And should make the color green, in theory. Let's see if it works. Not so much. Okay. Well, hey, sometimes things don't work out as planned. I guess it's because it's darker. If I had used the other blue, it probably would have done it. But I'm going to keep both the top and the bottom in this yellow. Okay. All right, so now we've got all of this set. We have all of our background, and now it is time to say, you need to be stained glass. So let's start out. I'm going to start out with these, and I'm just going to simply draw over all of my black lines. With this marker, this is a Faber-Castell grit marker. It's one of my favorite types of markers. It's a water-based marker. You could definitely use a Sharpie. You could use any marker at this point. I'll try to do as little pivoting as possible. I went outside the line a little bit here. Didn't really get that too well. So that part's done. Now I'm going to move on to this section. I'm just going to bring down these vertical lines first. You know, the best part when you're drawing something or coloring something is rather than move the page around so that it's easier for you. All right, so I've got that blue there. I mean, that dark line right there. Let's go up here to the zigzag. And there's that stuff. That section is done. And now I am going to go around all of these mosaics. Come down here with the blade of grass. And then around like that. And you know what? The thicker the line you make, like you could double these lines in width. The other part is that sometimes the line in stained glass is not really the same thickness. Maybe the thickness changes. So maybe you have a line like this, you know? So that's the other part. I should have led with that, right? That it doesn't make a difference if the line is even, because the line in stained glass is really never completely even. And sometimes when you color something, well, usually always when you color something, right? The lines do get kind of colored over. I mean, you could do the extreme opposite. We should do that as a color along, actually. The extreme opposite of going over all of your lines in white when you're done, so it starts to look like a painting. is this right here. Okay, so he's complete. I'm not going to do anything around the edges. Oh, the only thing I want to do is go back over these lines right here. I don't really think you can even tell, but I know it's there. You know it's there. Now that I showed you, right? So, if you like my videos, hope you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give this video a thumbs up. That would help to get the YouTube people to, you know, continue showing it to other people. And give this video, hit that bell so you get notified every time I post a new video, time you post a new video. Could you imagine? You post a new video, I'll just sit here and watch. Okay. All right. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I hope to see you all soon. And, hey, have a great day.